Hello everyone and welcome to the first overview of the rules video for the game Shizwaz Showdown. Thank you for visiting my Kickstarter. I'm going to assume that you are starting with the Gunslinger deck, print and play copy in your hand, that you have one and that your opponent also has one. So what do you have in your hand? You have half of a poker deck. You have the spades and clubs, you have twos through aces. The reason why is because the Crystal Mage has the diamonds and hearts, has the other half of the poker deck. So what do? How do you set it up? Let's get a setup going. You take your twos, you put them face up on the table. Two of spades, two of clubs, face up. These are your life counters. When you get hit, you turn a card face down. You get hit twice, you turn them both face down, and you lost. You lost the game. You lose at the game. And now you didn't lose because they're both face up. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take 3, 4, and 5 of your cards. So 3, 4, and 5 of spades and the 3, 4, and 5 of clubs. And those are going to make up your starting hand. All of your other cards are going to go face down. So starting hand over here. All the other cards are going to go face down in an action pile near your hearts. You're also going to leave some space for a discard pile right here. And so you got these 6 cards in your hand, you've got your action pile, your discard pile area at least, and your 2 life tokens. Ready to play the game. That's how you set it up. So a general overview of how the game is played is you take turns in this game. Each turn, both you and your opponent play a card from your hand face down in the playing area. You're going to do it, your opponent's going to do it. It's going to be awesome. When you're both ready, you both got a card face down, you both turn your cards face up. All the cards in the game represent actions, except for maybe these 2 hearts here, your 2 life tokens. But these cards you've played are going to represent actions, so you're going to see how those actions play out. You're going to do whatever it is, whatever Shizwaz you're supposed to do according to those 2 cards, and then you're going to basically start over again. You're going to take your next turn. One of the hardest things for people to remember about playing this game and the turn system is that these 6 cards that you start the game with, your 3, 4, and 5 of clubs, 3, 4, and 5 of spades, whenever you play these on a turn, they always go back into your hand at the end of the turn. So you'll always have these 6 cards. These cards from your action pile, if they get into your hand somehow, and we'll talk about that later, if you have one of those in your hand and you play it, once it's been played, it goes into your discard pile. So if they start in your hand, they stay in your hand. If you draw them from the action pile, they go into the discard pile once they're played. So let's see. So that's basically an overview of that. Let's see the 3 core actions to this game. The first time that you play, it's smart to take your action pile and to take out all your faces and aces. So I'm going to take out Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. These should be shuffled all together. I left them like this just so I could get them out easier. But take your aces and faces and put them off to the side for the first game. These are what makes your gunslinger the gunslinger. These aces and faces are what make your character special. If you take these out, basically you strip down the game to its core mechanics. So that's what we're going to do for our first time here so we can learn the rules, learn the core mechanics, is we're going to just have these in play. So let's start the game here. I've got my 3, 4, and 5 of clubs. And those are all what I call preparing actions. So you can see there's a little icon in the top corner that is a Weeble with a card. And the reason that these are preparing actions is because when you play these, it allows you to draw a card from your action pile and add that to your hand. And again, these always go back into your hand. The other action you start off with is your defending actions. So preparing action for the gunslinger is load. He's loading his gun. He's preparing to fire. His defending action is take cover, where he bravely hides behind a barrel like a boss. And you can see the icon for defending action is the Weeble with a shield. So you can't shoot on your first turn. You just have these 2 actions. You can either defend or you can load. On your first turn, you should know your opponent has the same options. So he can't attack either, so there's no reason to defend. Nothing to defend from. Basically, when you start the game out, both you and your opponent are both going to start the game playing loads. So let's both load our weapons here. Make sure that that's a load. Yes, it is. All right, and this is kind of the way all the games will start. So some people ask, why don't you just start with a shoot in your hand? What these first 2 loads represent is kind of you're walking your 20 paces, you're turning around, you're preparing to fire. It's high noon, it's deadly, you're ready to play. So you've played your loads, and we're getting ready to start. So let's put the load back in our hand, take the card from our deck that preparing action got us, and our opponent will do the same. And so now we have all 3 actions. The last core action that we have is the Weeble is an angry Weeble. He's got a sword, and you can now shoot. So you've played your preparing action of loading your gun. You can now shoot your gun. And so that's kind of what these cards represent. So what I have to decide now is that I know me and my opponent both have these 3 actions. So it kind of becomes a paper, rock, scissors type of scenario at this level. And again, the aces and faces make this a lot more complicated. But at this level, you kind of have a paper, rock, scissors scenario. So if I'm going to be really aggressive, I might shoot. And in that case, my opponent may take cover and defend himself, in which case he would be safe, but I'd have to discard my shoot. But if I think my opponent's going to take cover, maybe instead of shooting, what I'll do is I'll load again, and that way I can get an extra shot into my hand while he's busy hiding behind a barrel because he's taking cover. So what I think he's going to do is I think he's probably going to load again. I think he's going to think that I'm going to be, I think he's going to think I'm taking cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load. Actually, you know what? I think he's probably thinking the same thing. I think he's going to load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot here and see if I can get him. So we both were playing a little aggressive there. We've both played shoot cards. What happens when both players shoots is that the bullets kind of ricochet. There's no effect. So they either bounce off each other, or if that's too impossible for you, you can imagine that maybe the fact that we're both firing at the same time throws off our aim and we don't hit each other. But both of our cards get discarded here, which is unfortunate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play another load, and he'll do the same. So we take our shoot cards, take our loads cards back. All right, this time I'm going to try to play a little smarter. I think he's going to load, or I think he's going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to load. But you can kind of see how this would play out. I'm thinking he's probably going to take cover, so I'm going to load and see what happens. And unfortunately, he shot that time, so instead of he shoots me I'm trying to load my gun, I'm out on the street trying to load my weapon, and he shoots me in the face, which makes it hard for me to load. I am not able to load that turn because I was shot in the face. Instead, what I'm going to do is turn one of my life tokens face down. So he'll discard that. I'll put this load back in my hand. I won't take a shoot. Instead, I'll turn my card over. And then we'll see what happens this time. So he loads that time, and I shoot. I think he must have forgot that I had a shoot in my hand, and of course he goes down. He is unable to draw a card this turn because he was too busy getting shot in the face. And the game goes on. And somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. So that's kind of how the core actions work together. It's good to play the game like this a few times, so I'm going to leave this video at this, and I will have another overview video that includes all these very fun cards and kind of how they work in a second video. Thanks for supporting the Kickstarter. Thanks for checking out this video. Please let me know what you think. Any questions, send them to me, and I will try to post answers to those in a frequently asked questions section below on this Kickstarter page. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the support.